First off, I'd like to say thanks to Jay-Z for the opportunity for us to talk about this new and compelling transfer solution that was used on this project. So what makes a transfer solution compelling? I mean, in a word, it's speed, right? But even if you have good speed, you still have to take into consideration things like the costs and the security. So let's look at the detail of what was done on this project, and I have a couple of Lederhosen helpers to remind me of some key points. So this is a diagram of what we did for this project, and starting in the bottom right-hand corner, and it kind of loops around all the way to the other side. The key differentiator for this solution is that we're using cloud to effectuate a lot of this transfer solution. So if we start in the bottom right-hand corner, that's in the back corner of the building there. We load data. We have data loaded on Isilon. It was loaded by the ColorFront box. Once it hits that ColorFront box, it's going to Pixspan's PixMover box, and that's taking care of uploading it to the cloud. So we have the ability to do an automatic upload to the cloud. We can also do it manually, and it can be done in automation with things like REST APIs or webhooks as well. The content in the cloud then, once it gets up there, it's available for any place, anywhere in the world. To pull it down, the destination of where this was going was changed a few times over the last week or so. So we knew where it was going to be in the cloud, so once it was there, it could pretty much go anywhere. We also ran into a situation where we had an inability to get hardware to the location where the destination was going to go. So AWS just opened a local zone in the Los Angeles area, and we took advantage of that. So we have a virtual version of our PixMover software that's running in that local zone and is communicating over NFS to Baselight storage that is in Marina del Rey. So we have a young Heidi Klum sitting there off to the left, and she's just reminding us that the cloud model is in its adolescence right now. You can already see that it's got the potential for beauty, and this is a transfer solution is going to be a supermodel in not too long. So what's important about speed? The speed that can be achieved when you incorporate the cloud is really Usain. And that's a lot of different aspects of it. First off, we have a limit here between the boxes that are in the back and the cloud, and that limit was 1 gigabit. So yeah, I want to mention the latencies as well. Everything in the cloud, it's getting closer and closer. So we have about only 10 milliseconds of latency between the box in the corner there and Amazon's S3 storage that is up in Northern California. Between the local zone box, the virtual PixMover that we have, to the storage on the baseline, it's only about 2 milliseconds. So you can almost consider that to be a box sitting on premise, you know, as a local solution.
So this is it.
So the physics between the box here and up into the cloud with a 1 gigabit link is that we have 1 gigabit worth of, worth of bandwidth capability. So how do you solve a situation where you're limited by physics? You add more physics, and that's one of the things that Pixspan does. And in the words of Matt Damon in The Martian, we kind of physics the shit out of this solution. So what it ends up doing is it gives you a multiplier on the link speed, and that multiplier can enable you to get up to the cloud 2 to 3 times faster. Basically, you can consider the networking capability in the cloud is infinite. So there's plenty of it up there to use, and we've seen amazing speeds in the backbone of AWS. You have the ability to either deliver in full resolution format, or you can still deliver it in our compressed format. And if you do that, it's still readable by various applications like Baselight, Flame, and others are coming online. So you don't have to pretend to be Steve Jobs or Sherlock Holmes to be able to figure out the security aspects of the solution. Basically, when you get into the cloud, there's a richness of options that are available. Sometimes it's hard to choose which the right ones are. But basically, up to the cloud, TLS 1.2, so you're encrypted up to the cloud. You can also incorporate Direct Connect, and that's another added layer of security. When you're in the cloud, you can encrypt in place. You can do things like restrict the access to your buckets up in the cloud through IP addresses, IP address restrictions, and also you can restrict it to different key access. And then we got TLS 1.2 back down. When you're going NFS from the cloud, you have to think about security if you want to take that option. So you can secure NFS through S-Tunnel. You also have the ability to do VPNs, and SSHFS is an option as well. So when you're dealing with the cloud, you have to take some key advice from Samuel L. there. You have to watch your costs, because if you don't pay attention to your costs, they can add up really quickly. I've just thrown a couple of cost issues here. Egress to the cloud is free. Everybody knows why that's the case. They want your data in the cloud because that's when you can get charged. But if you're using this for a transfer solution, storage is very inexpensive. You can either leave it up there as a copy, or if you do a move workflow, it's going to be pennies. So it gets copied up there. When you're bringing it back down, you move it. Egress is really the expense item for transfer. So egress, if you're transferring full resolutions, it could be $50 a terabyte. If you're doing, depending on what region you're in, you could substantially reduce your cost by going Direct Connect. But then again, if you take advantage of the Pixspan compression options, then you may be talking about $8 over Direct Connect, or $20 over the internet. So the EC2 compute, it's very efficient if you bring the box up and you use it and you shut the box back down. So for a transfer solution, again, we may be talking about $1 or less than $1 worth of compute to get the job done. As you can see from the top left-hand corner, that's the picture of AWS worldwide. This demo, or this project, was done with AWS. So whether your job's in Singapore or London or Australia, Sao Paulo, there's going to be a location that's going to be relatively close to you. There are other cloud providers, one of which is Wasabi. They have a different pricing model, so something that you may want to look at if you're going to do egress, because their egress charges are free. So you can consider that type of thing for a nearline type of solution. Microsoft also has a cloud, their Azure cloud, similar to AWS. It's basically all over the place. And you see new things popping up like RStore, which is run on SohoNet. And that has another overlay and gives you additional capability if you're a SohoNet user. So when you look across this scenario, the cloud is ubiquitous. Basically, you can think of the cloud being everywhere, all around us, just like angels. There, Cameron. So thank you very much. And I'm in the back corner if you have any questions.